Oh hey, welcome to another edition of hand-laid tracks and 3D printed trains with Socrates. Today we're looking at a book. I entered the Cults 3D contest called Book, and I decided instead of making bookends, I'd make a book. It's a little book called If I Had a Cat. See, my cat's name is Stripe. I think it is. And Stripe likes to go outside. Stripe plays in the bushes and lays on the leaves. When the day is done, Stripe purrs me to sleep. The end. The 4-color print, I do it on the Bamboo A1. I think you could do it with the Z-Hop. I don't think it'd be as easy to do. Has a little snap ring binder sort of. They just slip right on there. Print them separately. And you can get it on Cults. Print yourself up a book. Get yourself a cat. Name it Stripe. What I do with this, because it's only 4 colors, so you have a limited number of options on the palette. So what I make do the outline of the cat's body in white, with the outline of the head in yellow. That let me use the white for the accents on the head as well. And for the most part, I stay consistent with the color scheme with the blue and yellow for the cat, and blues or greens for the trees, etc. Also, I found it was better if you turn infill off because the infill bleeds through in some place. So this is the bamboo slicer. I do that for the colorings. Basically, I set the flushing volume to about 300 is normal. Works pretty well. For white, sometimes I'll put it to 400, but this is a marble I'm using. It's pretty good at 300. I also turn off the infill so you don't flush to the infill because sometimes that will show it through the colors. And you can use shortcuts. N gets you into the coloring thing, and F turns it to automatic infill. And you turn the edge detection on and off. I find it easier with it on. Basically, everything has been sort of segregated into color sections. So in theory, with the edge selection on, you can see the outlines easier. It makes it easier to pick. And I basically leave the main color for the 4 colors as what ends up being the lettering. It's easier not to have to color in one thing, so you make a base color and everything else you have to color in. So at this point, I basically start with the blue, the cat's blue. And one thing, if you don't want the bottom of the cat to show, just make that blue as well and there won't be any bottom on it. Like I said, my dad's, when I was a kid, my best friend's father was a veterinarian, and people would send him cards with this very image on it, and, he have them everywhere because everybody would send him that card. So anyway, if you have a cat, this is one of the views of a cat. That's the end. But I make you can see these little tiny pieces have to be individually done with the edge detection on. For some reason, they didn't want to clean up perfectly, but it works. Make sure you get the insides of the letters. And, you have 4 colors to work with, so you have to sort of pick which way you want to do it. This is obviously how I did it. There's other ways you can do it. I also went ahead and through and kind of color up the little holes. Sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's hard. I think with the edge detection off, that makes it a little easier to do. Once you have sort of made a color through part of it, the edge detection works a little differently because it sort of segregates that piece all in of itself. So you can kind of turn that edge detection on and off. For this case, since it's flat, the amount of sensitivity doesn't really matter, so it's either on or it's off. And I was doing the outer edge on all the pages, basically the same with that lighter greenish color, sort of a turquoise. It's trying to, again, it has to look different and it has to work for multiple pages at the same time because both pages are printed at the same exact time. You can see one's face down, one's face is up. In fact, I got a little feedback last night from people who thought that the other side, the end side, should be up because they wanted the texture on that page more than the texture on the other page. Because one is flat, basically, on the printer bed, and the other has whatever the top thing. I don't do ironing on, but the top is a little bit more textured. And the other side is, again, basically the same idea. For, again, these stars have these little tiny corners that you have to do individually. It's way more work to try to figure out how to fix that in the design than just simply tap it in. One of the things with the cat, I have the outline of the body is in white because the cat has the yellow stripe, and the outline of the head is in yellow because I want to pick the inside of the ears as white. And they are different. They're cut apart in the model so they don't overlap. And there's also a little tiny, I couldn't find it right here, there's a little tiny line to the left of the pillow there that I wasn't able to find for a moment. This is me trying to figure out where that little tiny line is. Basically, it works pretty well. Again, you have to see the little holes. I'll do it in a minute. Inside the letters, don't forget your little tiny letters have to be done. And you can also use the number key as opposed to, and that's Control Z. You can use the number key as opposed to, I'm using the mouse to make it more visible of what I'm doing. But you can hit 1, 2, 3, or 4 to automatically change the color. And also the really important one, the Shift Tab gets rid of the menu to the left. So if you hit Shift and Tab, that opens your screen up bigger, which is also quite useful. And once again, that's just me doing the inside of the letters. You can do any color you want, however you want. It doesn't take any more time because each layer is going to be the same 4-color layer. So also, when I do this print, I usually put page 1 and page 2, well, page 1 and page 3, I guess 1 and 2, on the same print bed. So you can print 2 whole pages at the same time with the same amount of waste. Make yourself a book. Don't forget to make the rings for the sides, and they kind of squeeze on. It worked out pretty well. Get yourself a book. It's on Cults Contest. Like it. Help me win. Get yourself a book. Buy yourself a cat. Get it on Cults. It's a contest, so if you can like it, download it, comment, make a make, I'd appreciate it. Thanks a lot. Check it out next time. This was a book on Hanley tracks. Not a train, not a train. A book on Hanley tracks. Go to Cults. Help me win a contest. Hey, thanks for watching. Woohoo! Where's my cat? Stripe! Where'd Stripe go?